One second, Derek, I just want to repeat one more time. This call will be recorded, so it is on record, and the recording will be placed on the YouTube channel. And if you're not aware of it, you can drop off now. And Derek, floor is yours, man. Go ahead, please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Hey, this is Derek, and from the Data SQL Ninja team. And our team basically focus on the database migration and all type of database migration. So it's a chance and to talk about database migration tools today. My session today covers two parts. One is overview of the database migration tools, and in terms of different sources and different targets, which tool we pick. And secondly, I'm gonna deep dive on the one particular tool, which is database migration assistant. So with that, let's get started with the session. Uh, Also, actually, a little bit cover the process of the process overview. Make sure everybody on the same page. Nowadays, I think everybody come across a lot of cases. Either you in the company enterprise or wherever you're doing the consulting for the customer, you will see migration a lot. So basically, we put it in three phases: pre-migration, migration. Sometimes we call it implementation, and then post-migration. In the pre-migration, one of the thing is we do very beginning is assessment. We're trying to provide an estimation as accurate as possible. So we have to use the tools, otherwise it's hard for you to personal to estimate. I don't know how to do that, but so we have a set of tools to do the assessment and estimations. Today, I just basically cover what tools we use, depends on the different sources and different targets. Here I list mainly, I think primarily we use 4 different tools. This page covers 3. The first one is DMA, which is Database Migration Assistant. It's a Microsoft tools. And the source is SQL Server on-premise, AWS RDS for SQL Server. Target is Azure SQL, and MySQL Server. So you can see pretty much is SQL on-premise, is AWS RDS SQL Server. It's a SQL Server family, purely for DMA usage, right? So the second one is covering all other things. The source will be like Access, DB2, MySQL, Oracle, Sybase. The tool we use is SQL Server Migration Assistant. The destination is very uniform as SQL Server family. However, the source will be different. You have DB2, you have MySQL, you have Oracle, Sybase, Access. If that's the case, we use SQL Server Migration Assistant. If you from SQL Server to SQL Server, so we're pretty much just using DMA as the first step. Now, the third tool is not authored by Microsoft, but open source. But it's popular, it's used a lot in the industry. Oracle to PG, it particularly focused on Oracle to PG sources, as the name suggests. The source is the Oracle database, and the destination is PostgreSQL, including Azure PostgreSQL or on-premise PostgreSQL. So it's a very popular tool. In addition to these 3 tools, Microsoft also offers another online tools. If you're looking for anything about Azure service, there is a tool called DMS, Azure Database Migration Service. It has 2 usage, basically, offline and online. The offline covers target source, support whether it's a GA status or not. So it supports a lot. I don't go through each one. So basically, have offline, online. If the migration requires the database keep online, you can use the DMS online mode. So it has all this kind of things we support from Oracle, from SQL Server, RDS, and more than that, actually. So that's a DMS. So in the past 2 minutes, I covered the tools we use in terms of the migration. Today, unfortunately, we don't have a uniform tool to cover everything, but based on the different source and the target, we pretty much pick the tool to use. I think this is the 4 mainly used tools, which is also by the already published to the GA. For our team, also, we do a lot of utilities to develop tools by ourselves. So this page covers a lot of IP we own by our team. So we cover APS to CQDW load scripts, DB2 migration, Natida, everything. More than that, actually. you can visit the page, which is a public page. You can take a look. So datamigration.microsoft.com. It had a very good guide to help you from different source to the different target. Will give you the guide. Now, that being said, today most of my time will cover on one particular tool, which is DMA. It's a Windows application. DMA. I'm going to do a DMA demo. I list the sequence how we use the DMA. By the way, I just say one more time. DMA stands for Database Migration Assistant. With that being said, before I jump into the demo, any questions so far?
Yeah, quick question. So what's the difference between the data migration service and the DMA?
Yeah, so DMA is a Windows application. It's the first step. It's assessment based on the source and so a couple of things. DMA is a Windows application. DMS is Azure Online Service. It's a pay as you go. DMA is totally free. DMS is not totally free. If you go to the premium tier, you're gonna pay. Though the first 6 months is free, but after 6 months usage, you have to pay. That's the first difference. Second, DMA only support SQL Server family to SQL Server. For example, SQL on premises, RDS, SQL Server on AWS to whatever you can think of, Azure SQL Single Database, SQL MI, or whatever. It's purely SQL family. However, if you see the DMS, on the other hand, it supports multiple variety of sources, a variety of targets. That's DMS. That's a second difference. Third, DMA only covers offline. Yes, it can generate data, it can generate scripts, it can deploy to the target, but it only supports offline mode. It does not support online mode. With that being said, the other side, DMS actually can support the online mode, which behind the scene is implemented in different ways. Some based on the different source and target. Sometimes it implement like a log shipping. Do the full backups, then every single time take the log to append, or it do the replication mode to replicate the tables from source to destination. And you can do cut over purely from the source to target. So DMS way more comprehensive than DMA. It differentiates each other from three parts. One is application, one is Windows application, the other is Azure service. Second is cover the different source and target. DMA only on SQL family, DMS way more than that. Another one is DMA only support offline, DMS support online mode and offline mode. So that's the difference between two.
Thank you.
All right, look, let's quickly jump into the demo. So I'm going to open my DMA. I pull up here. 1 second. So I don't know the frequency they publish this version, but very often for me, every single month, maybe more than 1 month, I see a version upgrading. So every time, just make sure I get the latest version. It's a Windows application. It's free, so it's very easy to use. I add a assessment usually, right? So I can do a demo. I pick database engine SQL Server, and I pick the target as MI. As I said, this one pretty much covers the SQL Server family DMA. If you're looking for other things like I want to do Oracle to SQL Server, you probably go SSMA. If I want Oracle to Postgres DB, you probably go to Oracle to PT. So this DMA is purely cover the SQL Server family. I pick a SQL Server on premises as a source and target as SQL MI. With that being said, I click create, and the next you provide a local host. So connect. You can pick the database you want to migrate. You don't have to pick all of them. So let's take an example. I just quickly take an example, pick 3 of them. This is all DW, so I want to pick one OLTP system. So let's say add, start assessment. So the assessment give the feature parity, also give the compatibility issue. it lists all the issues and potentially, I think, 3 buckets. One is behavior change, another is breaking change. I forgot the other one, but basically you can look at data. One thing I want to point out is on this DMA file, yes, you can see all the issues. It takes about 2 minutes to finish the run. It's usually the first step to any migration start from. So let's give a little bit of time. This one. Yep. So you can assume everything has been finished. Every single database, you list the issues right here and also point to the details, recommendations, what object the violation on. So you can see all the details, right? Yes, again, I think this is a good UI, but for myself, as today's demo, I just do a typical workload case, how we do it. This is the first step I want to reclaim this demo. So I have 5 steps to follow. I hope everybody can learn something, how we do the best practice on the DMA. So the first step is run the assessment and generate a JSON file. Here, the one you can export assessment, generate in the JSON file, which I already did, so I don't repeat it. Let me open the JSON file. Let me take a look. Do you want to? Yes, I don't need it. So the first step is to generate this JSON file. Here's my file, which I already generated. I just save easy. So you can see this. Of course, I think the UI is very friendly. You can use the UI, but the thing is, if you have 10 instances, you have each instance, you have multiple databases. It's a little bit pain for you to go through one by one. So what we do is basically we put the JSON file in the folder as the first step. It's readable, but it's not that user-friendly readable. However, the way we do it, the first step is we generate the JSON, and the second step, I have a script to cover here the second step. Sorry. Then after this one, actually this is the first. So after this one, I can use the DMA processor, which is when you install the DMA in your local machine, it supports the DMA processor. So this PowerShell window, I don't want to run again because it takes a little bit of time. Basically, this command is let's say I have JSON file. I have JSON file put it here, 20 or 15 or whatever. Each instance generated DMA file, save as a JSON, put it here. All data is here. Now I run this single command can take all the JSON files into my database. So you provide a database as DMA reporting demo, and data warehouse is data warehouse demo. This single step will take JSON file, ingest all JSON file to this database, which I already did. I let you see what it looks like, the data. Once you run that step, you will see this one created and this one also created. But so far, data warehouse does not have data. All JSON file ingest into DMA reporting. Let's do a quick run.
So that was a local migration from one database to other on local host.
No, it does not. Sorry, I think your question is, do I have to save the JSON file to local instance? No, you can save to anyone. You can save to Azure CQ, you can save to CQMI, depends on the command which instance you give. Right now, for myself, I just provided a local host. But for any case, for other cases, you can provide your Azure CQ instance or maybe CQMI instance or whatever the on-premises SQL Server instance.
No, I think I want to clarify. What does this DMA process does?
DMA processor does is take the JSON file under this folder and ingest all JSON file data into this database, DMA reporting demo.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So I want to give you some idea about this. So this is everything. I just saved in JSON and run a DMA processor, all the data collection here, right? So all the message here, right? Imagine you have 20, 30, or whatever the DMA file, JSON files you already dump into the folder. As I said, you can use the DMA utility to open each instance watch database one by one. Or the other approach I'm doing is I save to JSON, I'm using the ingestion processor to take all the files into database. That's my second step. Right now, all my information is here. All my information is here, crossing the different instances, crossing different databases. Next step, I'm going to doing a data warehouse. So I have the loader scripts to make the data more dimensional fact star schema like into DMA warehouse demo. So that's my next step. So I have the scripts ready. I don't have to run it. Once I do this, I open, take a look. Right. So everything I do some trim the space or whatever, right? Steps are all here. Once I done this, all my information come into DMA warehouse demo. Since here I have the star schema. So for example, let's take a look. This is factor assessment, right? So now you will see the table is more surrogate key in places. I have rules, I have change category, severity, category key, target key, source key, status, all this kind of information. That being said, I have the information from the JSON to reporting DB, from the reporting DB to data warehouse DB. Next step is easier for me because we have a template, get ready DMA reporting update template. I double click this template, it will fill in the instance name and the data warehouse name. That's the only two information you need to fill in as a third step, which I already did. So let's take a look at this report. As I said, if you only have one instance, maybe you don't have to, right? But if you have 20 instances, you have more than that, you have 100, more than 100 instances, definitely want to put everything on one page, on one dashboard, shoot to your coworkers or upper managers like that. So this is the report generated based on the JSON file we just saved, right? So it had the readiness overall, it had the size of each database, and it had each database, what's the readiness, right? It's 100% ready or 80% ready. So for 80% ready, I'm curious why, what's the issue stop this guy only 80%? So you can drill through to see the remediation plan. It lists all the details, right? All the details. So now I already on the third step from the JSON file to reporting DB to data warehouse DB. I from the third normal to the star schema. From the star schema, I set up this template Power BI report. I put on the data warehouse database. Everything has been generated for me. So it does not only cover the SQL, MySQL Server, actually it covers all. But for this case, right, I have all the filters right here by team, right? I set up the team owner, Brand Lee or Eddie, whoever. You can see the overall readiness and which source, which target, what assessment the target. So all the information right here. But so let me close this. So this is a Power BI report. So imagine you have 20 files, again, 100 files. It definitely saves you time and definitely give you a lot of shiny and more fancy stuff on top of that, instead of just looking at a DMA file. So again, back to my slides. I hope we not lost. So I did this one. I using the PowerShell scripts to run the JSON file to load it into the data warehouse and reporting DB actually. Reporting DB load to the data warehouse and put a Power BI report on top of it. It's not over yet. Customer asking, okay, cool, I get it. 20% not ready or whatever. But you know what? I have I have this this instance running 10 database. I want to do CQMI. Tell me which spec I should start. I should start with, right? It should be general or business critical, or what price tier of that. That's very often asked question. So DMA also support this feature, basically called a SKU recommendation. The first step before you run into the SKU recommendation, you need to collect that server instance performance count. You provide a script to collect the information, which is this. I don't have time to run this. Basically, we recommended just one command to run. Basically, we recommended this is the server name you can connect to, and this output for the counter CSV, and this is the seconds we want you to run. The more you run, the more accurate the estimation. So after this step, we will generate a counter CSV file, which is your performance counter. So the format will look like this. Double click to open.
Derek, can that SKU recommendation be used for SQL SQL VM migration instead of the pass?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. Because DMA has this option for the target. Yes. But VM back one step back. For VM, generally speaking, I'm not sure they need to. Yes, I used to can do, but VM perspective very straightforward because for lift shift option, they have local on premises. Basically, they know what's a spec on my physical server or maybe on their VM, right? So they have that spec. And the DBA is supposed to know or collect the CPU usage, memory usage. Again, the tool supports that, but I think it's more for VM lift shifting. Maybe they have more sense on more than CQMI. CQMI, Azure CQ, a little bit different, a little bit different animal they will feel. So they need some guide to, hey, which spec I should start with. Anyway, this is the file I collected the performance counter. With this file, I can do one more step, which is the SKU recommendation. It's also the PowerShell scripts. No, sorry, my bad. It's DOS command shell script CMD. We're using ask action SKU recommendation. I generate the HTML file, TSV, JSON file. You don't have to. You only need one of them. That's enough. I think HTML is the best one to generate. So by giving this performance counter file, you collect it. So with that being said, I already generated. Let's take a look. So I actually did it twice. One is SQL Azure instance, another is SQL MI instance. So let's open this one. Now this one tell you, this instance, if you want to migrate so many databases, what will be the look like on the SQL MI? It will generate this one 24 vCalls and what's the price. Also, it can generate if you fill in this my subscription ID, I pick the region, it can generate a provision scripts. So this is the step of the SKU recommendation. So now I go back to my deck. I'm gonna review again. From the assessment, generate the Power BI report. Make the team on the same page. What's the overall readiness? Which DB is less than 100 or which DB is more breaking behavior we have to cover. With that, we start to give the SKU recommendation based on the performance count collected. So this is the typical way we're using the DMA to cover the life cycle of the assessment. Not only cover the assessment on your DB, but also provide fancy reports and SKU recommendation. It's a very good start for the team to use this tool to get some idea about my assessment and my SKU recommendation, even the price tier. So I think it's a good time. I use about 20 minutes to cover this session, particularly overview of the migration process. Secondly, I cover the data migration tools metrics based on the different source target. I pick the different tools. Last part, I cover the process of how I use DMA as a tool to do the assessment from the SQL Server to SQL Server Azure. So with that, I open the panel for you guys. Any question for us?
Folks, please feel free to unmute your phone and ask a question.
So do they use DMA to understand the impact, all of that, and then they go to DMS and then do the actual migration? Is it the route, Derek?
Yes. I already should have processed like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps we do, and right here, if finally they choose online, so we have to go DMS. If they choose offline migration mode, we can use the DMA part. Data part also, I mean, DMS also covered offline. Yeah, it depends on their choice. Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So if you have from Teradata to Synapse, if you have those, do we have a separate set of tools, or can we use any of these tools?
No, these again. So far, unfortunately, we have a lot of tools to pick based on the different source and the different target. The often used tools covers, I think, 80%, like 70% of the workloads we have, like DMS, SMA, Oracle 2PG, even did this DMS, but it does not cover a lot of other things like DB2, Teradata, Netida, even Vertica to Synapse. We have tons of I believe you can visit this one. We have tons of other IPs owned by our team based on the different workload. So again, short answer is the public facing tools do not cover the one you mentioned, the Teradata to Synapse.
Thank you, Derek.
Mhm.
Any other questions, folks? By the way, just FYI, we won't have any session next week because of 4th of July. And Derek, thank you very much for this session. That's very informative.
Thank you guys. I think last but not least, if you have more questions or whatever about database migration, should email to us, Data SQL Ninja extension team. We can help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Bye, guys. It was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.